We are back at it again here with another video with Invest for Tomorrow. To the first time viewers and investors, welcome to the channel. To all subscribers, welcome back. Here we are with the SPY, the S&P 500 index, continuing to fight to hold support and break through key resistance levels. And in today's volatility, our SPY buy at 2:05 p.m. sent out a bull indicator. From that moment forward, inflows crossed the midpoint to the upside, full strength on 42 vision, and call options went up 400% plus within an hour, guys. And as you see it popping up there within the screen, within the options chain, some options even went higher than that. If you guys want to receive this clarity and edge of the charts, you can now gain access to it as well. The link is down below in the description to the 42 vision indicators, getting connected over to our bots and becoming part of a growing community of investors, all looking to learn and grow together by receiving this clarity and edge over the charts and using these resources to maximize in either direction, whether stocks are going up or going down. So here we are with the SPY, the S&P 500 index, fighting to hold support here above the 465 resistance and breaking out to newer highs. And in today's video, we're going to break it all down, what key levels I would watch going into tomorrow, what's going on with the inflow versus outflow, and bull and bear indicators. But before we do, I want to share with you guys the home run opportunity that was mentioned this morning over at the Discord. So the home run today was spectacular beyond expectations, and if you guys want to know about these stocks early on and receive this clarity and edge of the charts, you can now gain access to it as well. The link is down below in the description to the 42 vision indicators, getting connected over to our bots and becoming part of a growing community of investors, all looking to learn and grow together. So the home run today was from our Netflix bot. Our Netflix bot at 9:40 a.m. sent out a bull indicator, and from that moment forward, inflows crossed the midpoint to the upside, full strength there on 42 vision, and call options went up 300% plus within an hour, guys. If you guys want to receive this clarity and edge of the charts, you can now gain access to it as well. The link is down below in the description to the 42 vision indicators, getting connected over to our bots. We look forward to having you join us, and we strive for opportunities like these every single day. Let's jump into these charts. Here we are with the SPY, the S&P 500 index, continuing to break out to bright green bars after doing a full transition from red bars to bright green bars from yesterday to today, hitting red bars and back up to bright green bars in today's volatility. Now, if this is your first time coming across the channel, this is 42 vision, which allows us to see the dips from the rips to the dips, and where the strength and weakness lies within the charts. And we also use our bull and bear indicators and inflow versus outflow as an extra layer of confirmation, which I'm going to pull up here and you can now gain access to as well. The link is down below in the description to the 42 vision indicator, getting connected over to our bots and becoming part of a growing community of investors, all looking to learn and grow together by receiving this clarity and edge over the charts and using these resources to maximize in either direction, whether stocks are going up or going down. And in today's video, I'm going to pull up the inflow versus outflow indicator, which adds that extra layer of confirmation and gives us that edge within the volatility. So here we are with the SPY stock, the S&P 500 index, under a bull indicator since yesterday at the 462.70 area, canceling out the bear indicator from the pre-market and earlier on the day, and actually starting to dominate here with a staircase effect, right? You could see it there. We were watching the resistance of 465. It got to it, and you could see how it acted as resistance in the first half of the day today here on the 30-minute. Started to pull downwards, found support above the 462 area, and quickly came back up to retest it. Broke through the next resistance of 467, and then 470 was the next level to not ignore. And here it is, fighting to stay above it in the after hours, right? The highest it reached was 470.79, and going into tomorrow, it's going to be crucial and critical to not ignore the inflow versus outflows and bull and bear indicators within the volatility, right? When we zoom out and we look at this from the 1 hour, we could see here a bull indicator has been dominating since the 455 area. I would just round it up to 456 because it's 455.90 area. Used it as support on Friday and continued that bounce as a double bottom effect here within the last several days and continues to break out and retest key resistance levels here within the bigger picture. Now, on the 15-minute, in the volatility, we could see how many bull and bear indicators have been popping up in the last 2 days. And a full transition has happened here from the dip area to the rip area yesterday, hit red bars today, and back up to bright green bars and under a bull indicator since the 464.30 area. And it has been strong here into the close, right? Continuing that strength here and canceling out every single bear indicator before that. And this bull indicator is now dominating in the volatility. Definitely something to not overlook here. And I'll be watching this very closely going into tomorrow. Now, what's going on with the inflow versus outflows? We're going to go ahead and pull it up here and take a look at it and what key levels I would watch going into tomorrow. Here we are with the SPY stock, the S&P 500 index on the 30-minute with outflows beginning yesterday in the after hours and leading into today's pre-market. But the reason why the chart didn't completely collapse is because these outflows never crossed the midpoint, right? They were red, but inflow still dominated and never crossed to the downside. It found support there in the live action above 464, and those inflows started to pick up, hitting some of the highest points that we've seen in the last several days and weeks of 8.59 here so far of inflows and green above the midpoint. Definitely something to not ignore there within the volatility of the 30-minute. And when we zoom out and look at this one from the 1 hour, we could see those outflows had continued into the open, but in the second half of the day, it never crossed the midpoint. It stayed above it. I talked about how I was going to watch this very carefully in today's volatility, and it needed to switch from red to green and pull upwards to further justify and reflect any further possible strength into these charts. And it did, and it's hit highs up here of 7.19 in the after hours, and things bounced up from 464 all the way up so far to 470.70, right? So definitely something to not overlook here is inflows are dominating in the bigger picture, and in the volatility of the 15-minute, same thing, right? You could see in the chop and in this tight consolidation here how these outflows and inflows were fighting. In the second half, those inflows crossed over, hit highs up here of 6.8, and outflows have began here in the after hours. And we need to watch this carefully in the volatility going into tomorrow, because if it does cross the midpoint and goes ahead and rolls that strength over a weakness and outflow starting to dominate on the 15-minute and rolling over that weakness into the 30-minute, it could quickly start to reflect that weakness into these charts with possible bear indicators. Definitely something to not overlook. Now, what are the key levels I would watch? Well, the first thing is support, guys. And if these outflows start to begin here on the 30-minute and they also cross over to the downside and continue red, crossing the midpoint on the 15-minute, reflect that weakness into these charts, the first support I'll be watching is the 467 area. Below that is 465, and then comes the 463 level. Now, to the upside, it's going to be crucial and critical here for these inflows to pick back up, switch from red to green on the 15-minute, reflect that strength into these charts, and the first resistance is the 472 area. Then above that, I'll be watching 475, and some of the highest levels that we've ever seen the SPY reach in the last year and last 2 years was 480, right? So that's that next key resistance that can get this out for the SPY to reach new all-time highs. We're not that far from it, but right now I'm watching in the tight range, the 472 to 475 area of resistance. So these are the key levels I'll be watching to the upside and to the downside. The bull and bear indicators are going to be crucial, and the inflow versus outflows, I would not ignore them, as outflows have began here in the volatility of the 15-minute. I'll be watching that very carefully and how it reacts on the 30-minute as well. As always, guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and let's make some money.